Boris Schlossberg, Managing Director at BK Asset Management.
BK Asset Management's Kathy Lean.
Hello, everyone. Let me just fix the screen right here. Hello, everyone. It's Kathy. My hair's a little messy right now, but hello. If you can hear me, see me, give me a thumbs up and say good hello and make sure everything's looking good and coming through good. Give me a thumbs up. Hi, Ben. Hi, Miguel. Hi, Gary. Welcome, everyone, to Live Trading FOMC. I'm so excited to share with you what I think is going to happen to the markets, and we're also going to be live trading it with you. I'm probably going to talk really, really fast because we only have 15 minutes before the rate decision. Thank you so much, Fred. It was just a little crazy, but thank you, everyone. Okay. So we're going to cut to the chase. We don't have time. We have 15 minutes until the interest rate decision. I'm Kathy Lean, BK Traders, Prop Trader Edge, and we are going to dive into live trading probably one of the most important rate decisions of the year, certainly the most important rate decision of the month, and the biggest event risk this week. And this could set the tone for not only how stocks trade, but also how gold and the US dollar and Forex and crypto trade for the rest of the month, certainly, and probably into the new year. Now, for those of you that are trading prop, this is one of those events that you can get funded on, especially if you're with a firm that allows you to get funded in one trade. Some of you before I see in the chat, we're talking about crypto. Bitcoin is definitely going to move a lot, as will the other instruments. So let me go ahead and share my screen. There's so much to talk about. Okay, give me a second to share my screen. And entire screen. Here we go. All right. So what are we looking at? We are looking at MNQ. Today, we're going to talk about how the Fed rate decision could affect stocks, gold, Bitcoin, and the US dollar. So pretty much something for everyone. And in terms of the expectations, I know in the chat, sometimes some of you have been already anticipating that the Fed is going to cut interest rates by 25 basis points. So let's first off write down the drill, right? The schedule is at 2 p.m. We've got the rate decision. We've got the votes. We've got the dot plot. And we have the economic projections, eco forecasts. At 2:30, we'll have Powell's presser and questions from the press. That's why it's called presser. So this is a two-pronged rate decision. And yes, Boris is going to be trading. I'm going to dissect it first. He'll come on. When we see trades, we'll call out the trades. All of the trades will be what we call reactively, which means that we're going to be taking trades after the rate decision, because this is one of the biggest event risks, and there's so much uncertainty. No one knows which way it's going to go because there's so many things to focus on. Now, we're going to ignore the 2:30 because we're going to be talking about it. We'll see it later. We'll focus on the opportunity at 2 p.m. But it will be, with these rate decisions, it's going to be a two-pronged approach. The first step will be the first reaction to the rate decision, votes, dot plot, and eco forecast. And then that will probably lead to about 10 to 12 minutes of movement and continuation. And then right when we get to the 15-minute period, 2:15, you're going to start to see a little bit of retracement, a little bit of give back. And then that will happen even more aggressively 10 minutes before the press conference, so 2:20. And then, then 2:30, we got Powell's presser. By 3 o'clock, we should know, the main takeaway of what he wants to say in his press conference, and then the real trend of the day. So I'm going to delete this here because we can worry about that later. Right now, we're focused on the 2 p.m. rate decision, votes, dot plot, and economic forecast. And I'm going to delete even more. Let's not even focus on the economic forecast. And let's just focus on the rate decision, the votes and the dot plot, because the economics forecast will basically be a bit of a footnote that we'll talk about, but it's not really the main focus of the markets. The main focus first step is the question is 25 basis point rate cut, yes or no? If they do not, the big surprise is, if first of all, if we get no cut, that's going to be a really big deal. That's going to equal huge rally for the dollar. And there's some of you in my Monday live stream that basically felt that the Fed is not going to cut interest rates. So if they feel the way you do, then this is what's going to happen. The dollar will rally. Stocks will crash. They'll come crashing down. Gold will come crashing down. And Bitcoin is going to come crashing down, because this would be a huge, huge surprise. Now, if they do 50 basis points, which would also be completely left field, then it would be the opposite, where we have the dollar up, down, stocks, gold, BTC all up. 25 basis points is the most likely scenario. So if it's no cut or 50, the trade is easy. These are the things that we're going to look for. If it's 25 basis points, then it's going to be up to the votes and the dot plot. Some of you are saying, what are the votes? Okay, back in October, which is the last meeting, they cut interest rates, and we had what we called two dissents. So two dissents. Herein, who is Trump's nominee, voted for 50 basis points. Bauman voted for, no, not Bauman. Who is it? Warsh or something? I can't remember. But one person voted for no change. So we had one vote for 50 basis points, one vote for no change. And I apologize for talking fast, but we have very little time. So the question is, if they cut 25 basis points today, do we still have one voting for 50 basis points and one voting for no change? Now, if we do, that's probably, going to create a lot of volatility in the markets. Chances are, if the votes is unanimous, let's say everyone thinks it's 25 basis points, then we move to the dot plot. If we have nobody, if let's say we have one person vote for 50 basis points and 0 for no change, that would be a little bit dovish, but we know that Herein kind of sides with Trump and he wants more rate cuts. So the market will take it with a grain of salt. But depending upon, maybe there'll be 2 for no change. If there's 2 for no change, then it's going to be the same scenario as up here. Very dollar bullish, stocks negative, gold negative, Bitcoin. Then if the decision is unanimous, which means that everyone votes for the same thing, then we move to dot plot. The dot plot in many ways is the most important thing. So right now, the dot plot from September was looking for one more cut in 2026. The market is looking for 2 more cuts in 2026. So who's right? Okay, so here's the trade. If we only have the dot plot showing one more cut in 2026, it's going to be this whole scenario up here, which is going to be plus dollar minus stocks minus gold minus stocks, gold, and Bitcoin. If we have 2 cuts, well, let's go to the easy one, right? If we have 3 cuts, it would be minus dollar plus stocks plus gold and plus Bitcoin. Bitcoin. All right, Bitcoin. All right. The trickiest part will be what happens if we have only 2, which is exactly what the market expects. Then I think more likely than not, it's going to be like the above scenario. Less positive than if the dot plot only showed 1, but probably still somewhat positive for stocks, for dollar, negative for stocks, gold, and Bitcoin. So this is the game plan for the rate decisions. Now, we went through all of the different scenarios, and in many ways, and we're going to talk about tactics in just a second and what we're going to be trading. I'm going to be looking at Forex. Boris is going to be looking at stocks and gold. But I do want to say sometimes it could be a little bit of a confusion around stocks and gold because, for example, where's this? What is this? This is October 29th. This right here. This is what I want to show you. Where's my arrow? All right, my arrow's white. Let's make it black. All right, this was the 2 o'clock rate decision in MNQ. So if you remember, last time the Fed met, they cut interest rates, but the market saw it as a hawkish cut, very similar to what the market expects today. And so, you know, if we get a hawkish cut, the knee-jerk reaction will be a sell-off in stocks. But you can see here, there's a lot of volatility, a drop, a rally, and a drop again. So there's a lot of craziness in this candle. And sometimes it's not the cleanest trade. And that's why we have to tread carefully and focus on, you know, the opportunities here. Boris will be laying out the Nasdaq trade for you more cleanly. In terms of gold, we're going to go to October 29th as well. And I've got my eye on the clock, making sure that we don't miss out on the rate decision. So October 29th, let's actually go to the 15-minute chart for October 29th. October 29th, it'll just take me a second. All right, October 29th, we are right over here, okay? So remember, it was a hawkish cut, so it was negative for stocks. It was positive for the dollar, which is negative for the gold. Look at this, 15-minute candle, initial drop, and then boom, continuation. I'll look at dollar yen in just a 1 second, which is what I'm going to trade. But the way to trade this, in my opinion, is in the first few minutes. So we've got two-prong opportunity. The first opportunity is 2 o'clock. The second opportunity is 2:30. The best trade of the day will be, my friends, to draw the top of the news candle and to basically mark that as the high for when we have so mark that as the high. And then I would wait till the basically, you know, this candle, the end of the 15-minute news candle, and then put your buy orders on top, put your sell orders on the bottom, and boom. The smartest trade would be wait for Powell to stop speaking, which is basically, you know, 3 o'clock. So it's this time over here. And then you mark this low over here and you trade this trade. So there's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity here. Now, I'm going to be focused on dollar yen. So dollar yen, very similar situation. If we go back to October 29th and October 30th, because this is the hawkish cut that we're anticipating. And this was the central bank's rate decision. We're going to be looking at the initial trade. So the initial trade right at 4 o'clock, this is the, 2 o'clock. This is the 2 o'clock candle. We're going to mark the high. We're going to mark the low. We're going to place an order 5 pips above the 15-minute candle high. We may take a trade initially, immediately, because there is oftentimes an opportunity in the first 5 minutes. Then we're going to mark the high, mark the low, and then wait for the real trade to emerge as, you know, going into Powell's speech, because that's really going to be the key. So that's really what I am going to be looking for. I'm going to be focusing on the best opportunity, and the cleanest opportunity is going to be in dollar yen. Now, dollar yen, you can see from my heat map on the upper right hand corner, is has a lot more green than red, which means that the market is starting to, it wants to bid up dollars. And we have been seeing that because, you know, a lot of data has been good, but on the short-term basis, it's been turning lower a little bit. So we will be watching the news candle and seeing what opportunities are there. I think that if we have a dollar positive development, the best opportunity will be in dollar yen. And if we have a dollar negative development, you know, I think we could have opportunities in dollar CAD and Aussie dollar. Those could be some good trades. But I think we're just going to focus on dollar yen. All right. So now, you know, we've got our game plan, and I want to run this through one more time. MNQ is where I had all my notes, and I think it just disappeared. But basically, we laid out our game plan. I don't know where it went now, but we laid out our game plan, and we're going to be looking for different trades based upon the different scenarios that we outlined. So it's coming up. I'm going to move my quote screen over here. BK traders. If we're trading Forex, we're going to be looking at We're going to be looking at 20 stop, 20 target, see if we have any opportunities here. So this is a little bit of a rule of thumb. So let's see. Let's see what we get. Boris, you want to come on? Say hello. There you are.
I am. I'm just waiting to see decision hit the tape. Remember, the actual decision is not the reaction. It's going to be what they say. Hawkish cut, dovish cut. Nobody knows.
Yeah. Unless, of course, 25 or 50, which is highly unlikely.
Yeah, I really doubt they're going to go 50.
All right. Probably 30 seconds to go. Price action steady right now. And we'll see what we get. Wow, like almost 1,000 people on the stream. That's amazing.
Yeah, everybody.
Which says a lot because I bet a lot of them are abroad. Okay, so we're getting a dollar positive movement, which is not a surprise. I'm pretty sure it's going to end up being dollar positive, but let's take a look. We haven't seen the headlines come through yet. Do you see anything, Boris?
Not yet. It's still okay. Wait, 375, 25 basis point cut. 25
basis point move. MNQ is starting to move down. Gold is starting to move down. I think we're going to see a dollar rally, but we haven't seen. So let's see.
Interest rate projections: first year 3.4 against 3.4, 3.1 against 3.2, 2 year. Third year 3.1 against 3.1. Current projection is 3.6. Projection longer is 3. Kind of hawkish. I mean, I guess because they're not projecting.
Okay, let's see the voting against them as Miran, who preferred to do 50 basis points, and then 2 members voted for no change. 2 members. I can't believe that. So 2 members voted for no change. I think, we've got to respect the price action. I think this is bearish for stocks. We'll
actually, stocks are pumping. Surprisingly enough, the stocks could not care less. And NAS is up 100 points off this move. Now, whether it holds, it's a completely different story, but stocks are definitely pumping.
So for us as FX traders trading dollar yen, what we're going to do is we're going to wait for the levels to break. This is the high that's been set already. And I think the market's selling off. You got to respect that price action. So you could sell it, but I don't see anything. The market projects, the market thinks it's 25 basis points in 2026 and 25 basis, and we had 2 dissenters. I think this is a dollar positive development. I think stocks should fall back. I don't know what they see that is negative at all. The Fed only has 1 rate cut. So I think dollar is worth, buying. You got to be careful with that. I'm not putting any trades on yet because the price action's against it. What are stocks doing, Boris?
Stocks are up. Dow. You can take a look at my chart if you want, because it actually. Let me just see if I can get my chart in here.
I still think I don't want to rush against this, but I think dollar should. Let's see. Should be.
You can actually see it's a super bullish candle. Remember that in my indicator, when a candle just has massive volatility, breaks all of our volatility limits, it goes yellow. And this was a 580 to, this is like almost a 160 point candle off this in a positive way. We have not given up the lows yet. Now that doesn't mean anything because we are definitely not taking out the highs. The range high is over here in this green triangle, and we're kind of retracing back towards the middle. So we'll see if they can hold the bid here. It could very well be just a knee-jerk reaction to the upside, and they're going to take it down. As it all depends on what Jerome says. If he sort of sounds like we're one and done, and we don't see, we're dependent, we don't really see rates going down any further for a little while. It's going to unwind.
Yeah, basically, like I said, I think that this is a dollar positive development. There's nothing negative here. So, because the price action is counterintuitive to what the interpretation is, you got to be careful. I would put a buy order 156.53. You could do a small position and try to go long in the 30s here in dollar yen. But as I said, 2 dissent in favor of no change. And then we have 7 officials penciled in no rate cuts for 2026. This is super, super dollar bullish. Price action is not showing that. And so, I would be a little careful, but I think that we're going to see things start to reverse. I think that, maybe dollar Swiss is better than dollar yen because the BOJ could raise interest rates, but you got to be careful, draw your levels. I'm going to be patient with my trade and wait for one of these levels to be triggered because it should really be up here and not down here, but we have to respect the price action. and we have to wait for it to move our way before we get the juice. I mean, do you see anything negative about this, Boris, or anything that is actually justifying the rally in stocks?
Not off the top of my head. I haven't read any of the analysis. I'm trying to, see if the statement is anything inside of it. I'm going to take a look at Forex Live and other commentators just to see what they're saying for a second here. But
we have Tony, who's one of our members, just get passed on a 250 eval. Did you put your limit orders on the top and bottom, Tony?
he did a straddle probably. He took a straddle on the
I mean, Boris loves the straddles.
Right. And I was going to do it, but we just didn't have enough time. But it's fine. We're going to talk about it. There's going to be so much opportunity over the next couple of weeks for us to do some really good news straddles. And they're so cheap because Apex is discounting everything. We'll talk a lot about that in a minute. So Marcus Field guidance, not the rate cut. Blah blah blah. I'm just trying to see what anybody.
I would say same thing with MNQ. Draw your levels, wait for the break, and wait for something to move.
Maybe what it is. I wonder if the market just doesn't care because they know that the new Fed chair is coming, and it could be Hassard. And Hassett is just says, that he sees there's more room for interest rate cuts. Like, I just wonder if the discount here is not necessarily what the current policy decision making is. Is it that they're betting the future policymakers are going to be a lot more dovish? This is the only rational explanation I can come out of this, because on face of it, there's nothing in the move here and nothing in the policy directive that makes you want to get long risk, but we'll see.
Yeah. Do you see any trades? I wish there was some easy trades. Like I said, I'm still leaning towards a little bit more positive dollar, but you can see all my BK trend meters are still very negative. So, I wish, we don't want to just jump into a trade. Sometimes it's easy, but when the price action is at odds with the actual announcement, it's best to let the price action be your guide. And that's what we're doing right now. It's what I'm doing right now. I'm waiting for the price action to be my guide. I'm waiting for levels to be broken. I'm not going to rush into the trade. You can respect the price action and say, it seems like they want to sell it and maybe you have a little bit of room to go, but I don't see anything right there. What about you, Boris?
No, I don't see anything right now, but of course we really don't care. We're going to be trading the movement as it comes. I will say this though. I mean, if you want to look at my chart right now, let me see if I can pull it up.
So Himu was saying that CMC talking about QE light with bond purchases. That yes, the $40 billion in liquidity printing in 30 days. There are some.
We're breaking out the highs here. You got to, if this thing holds above the highs, you got to trust this move. So we're going to go long this move if it holds. Like we got 31 seconds left. We'll just trade a little bit here, obviously, because
and that's the strategy, which is to wait for the initial reaction break levels to break.
Right, and also obviously to hold. Part of our strategy is to always hold to the candle end, because this thing just could have tested the highs, but not. They need to hold them. So I'm just waiting here, and if they commit, we'll commit. We'll see. 3, 2, 1.
Anything in gold?
No trade. So no trade on this. They kind of came off the highs, but it doesn't mean they're not going to try and rally it again. On the gold side, gold is actually positive, and we can go gold in our.
Gold is breaking out. Breaking out. Gold actually just started to break out to the upside.
We just went long gold over here.
Yes.
For a dollar target here. Let's see if we can.
I think I think gold's long is the right trade. That's the only trade that we're seeing right now.
Right. Which is also surprising because you would think. There we go. Gold got done. Everybody sees that. You saw that. So that was a $2 quick pop on gold, and we're just doing nothing but basically following our plan. If the price action tells us to buy, we buy. Ours is not to wonder why. Ours is to buy and buy. Meaning that in fundamental interpretation here clearly seems to be different, but we're not seeing something. Usually when you don't see, one of the things that Kay is probably going to agree with me on this. If you think something is supposed to happen and the price action is doing the exact opposite, that usually means there's something much more important that you're missing, and it's usually a great trade. And in other words, bullish risk right now, which is something that everybody I'm seeing, even in commentary on Forex Live, people going, "You're a bunch of idiots. You're a bunch of idiots." It's probably the best trade. The one that's
it's a very trading news can be complicated, or it can be very simple. This is the exact same Boris's strategy, although Boris's trading's BFF is exactly the same as we outlined. Take the 5-minute candle high, take the 5-minute candle low, wait for the breakout, and then just ride it. And right. This it's gone up $5 already. You probably have about 5 or 6 minutes left in the trade before we get into a pullback and the Powell grind. But, it's very simple to trade news. It's just a matter of looking to see what market we have it in. You can pull up MNQ to see if there's a breakout, Boris, dollar yen. Can you pull up MNQ, Boris? Since you have the real-time feed, pull up MNQ. Let's see what's going on there. Gold, gold, we had the breakout, which was really nice.
MNQ is breaking out, yeah.
All right, let's see. Let me share your screen.
Look at that trend meter on use. It's all green, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So here's the thing interesting about MNQ. This is part of our BFF. You notice that we don't have any signals precisely because it teases the top, but they can't hold it. For it to be a really bullish move, it's got to close near the highs. But what's happening is the buyers are testing the top and they're getting sold down, testing the top, getting sold out until they can hold those levels, start breaking out, which maybe they will right now. We don't really have a signal here on NAS. Although let's see, maybe we do right now.
But I think we do have a breakout to the upside.
Yes, we do, and that was super fast, guys. It's so fast. Let me show you.
But it's not fast because we already laid out the levels, the highs and the lows, and you should be watching this. This is the way you should be trading news, which is you got the high, that orange candle that Boris is showing. You got the low of the orange candle, breaks to the upside, scalp it to the upside for a short trade.
Right. I'm just sorry. I'm just trying to find because as usual, oh man, this is really annoying. Okay, why don't you put on your charts for 1 second? I gotta close out all mine and then redo it because I want to show them exactly how the trade went. But I have to close out all my charts because of the way Trade-Evade works and TradingView works.
Yeah, sure. As Boris said, this is, we're just looking at the gold trend meters here. They were all turning green, and we're starting to turn green on a short-term basis. That's why that supported the long trade. But as you're seeing, we're starting to do the give back with, currencies. Unfortunately, there's no real movement in currencies yet. There's nothing going on. We had a little bit of a breakout on the euro dollar to the upside. We were focused on dollar yen. The close is really important. So I would wait for a close above there. But Nasdaq's the one that's moving. We know Nasdaq, we highlight the high, we highlight the low of the 5-minute news candle, and it's rocking and rolling to the upside. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, we've got our 5-minute candle on the top and bottom. Bitcoin hasn't moved yet. But, if we get above these levels, you got the lines, you should have the lines marked on your own chart, and you should be able to move off of this. So it's pretty simple go on these. Now, in terms of the news flow, as everyone has pointed out, in terms of the votes, we basically had 2 dissents in favor of no change, which should have been super dollar positive, negative for stocks, negative for gold, but that didn't happen. And we have only 1 dot plot. And the reason for that is, there is money being pumped into the system. I'm still skeptical about it lasting, but the most important thing that I hope you take away from all of this is that I may have an opinion. So I may have an opinion, I may have a view, but I'm a trader, and Boris and I are traders at heart. So we need to have the price action confirm our view before getting into any trades. So clearly the price action is not confirming the view. It's going the opposite direction. But that does not mean that we're not going to be back down here if Powell says something. So we still got our levels to watch. We still have the opportunities. We'll see what Powell says.
Yeah. And so I'm just going to reshare my screen now. Just want to show you because it was what I was saying is why it was fast was because and this is why we scalp, guys, because you snooze, you lose. you see this position over here. It looked like it was just going to go up. This was a buy signal for us. We got long this signal, but it was only good for 5 points, and it was just boom, boom. We came in at 26 over here. You can see my little magnifying glass. We came out at 31, and that's all there was. And that's why scalping is so good, because whatever is the small amount, we can pick it up with high probability. If we were going for 30, 40 points, the trade would have already reversed. Had that having been said, you're looking at the chart right now. It all really depends on what happens once Powell starts speaking, because as of now, it's a bullish construct. The short-term moving average above the long-term moving average, the breakout bar is holding. The lows of the breakout bar are definitely holding. Prices are all well above. The range is kind of, in the middle to expanding. So the cool thing is the indicator is going to show us exactly how the market feels about this. It's in basic chop mode right now, as is totally normal after the initial reaction. But
yeah, we're at 215, so we're going to chop into the 230 Powell presser.
Correct. This is a good time to talk about all the stuff that's happening, both commercially from us, in terms of us as prop traders having unbelievable trading opportunities, and maybe to talk a little bit about some of the setups that I wanted to share with you as we're going to start trading. So first,
but if you don't mind, Boris, I just want to do a quick summary of everything.
Sure.
So I just want to summarize what I want you to look right here in this box over here. Okay, this is Kobesi letter is fantastic to follow. And so summary is a Fed cut 25 basis points. They will consider extending and timing of additional adjustments. This is the reason why stocks soared, was because they'll begin buying U.S. Treasury bills. Now, remember, when they buy bonds, it drives down the yield, and it drives down the yield, which makes everything cheaper, I guess, which is in effect amplifying the interest rate cut.
Yes.
So even though Schmidt and Goldsby voted in favor of no change, and the Fed, and there's a whole bunch of Federal Reserve officials, like 7, which Financial Juice reported, or 9, I don't even remember the number, but basically a whole bunch don't see a rate cut next year.
And that's why prices are rallying, because that little tidbit of data is far more important than the interest rate. The Fed is going to go on the bid, meaning the Fed is going to start buying Treasury bills. That means money that you would need to go to Treasury bills is now free to go to stocks and gold and risk assets. It's hugely bullish. That's why we're starting to see this.
Yeah,
doesn't matter
right. It's because they're buying and they're amplifying the this great cut with the buying. Powell speaking at 2:30 should be right around the corner. So we'll wait for that. And let's see how the market. So Boris, go ahead.
So so that's actually was the interesting takeaway that we sort of didn't get a chance because we were in the middle of the heat of the battle to quite understand. But now it makes immensely more sense as to why equities are bullish. Now the question is going to be how much they're going to buy. What's Jerome's going to say? We'll see if the market wants to hold this bid. But for now, it's long and strong until we're wrong. So how do you like that, Kay?
I like that a lot. I mean, stocks are soaring, right?
Right. And we have another quick setup here in MNQ, which I'm taking. We'll see if we can clip
easy
it.
Peasy, my friends. Highs and lows. That's all you're focusing on. Exactly. Someone's talking about gold moving quite a bit too. Gold is also making new highs. We'll have to wait for the next. I think the 5-minute candle, the next 5-minute candle break, which is now at 42.20. In gold, but so it's that high, that little red dot that Boris has outlined.
And that gold, by the way, that 250 level, you see it. That's going to be a really interesting level. So if they're going to take it out, that'll be really, I think, positive, because it's a half-century mark. Usually a big number, big round numbers like this are important. So if we start to see 250, 251, it's probably going to go 255, 260 before it kind of rallies. So we'll watch gold. We're trading gold in our wealth charts accounts, and we'll trade that. So speaking of that, let me just take a minute to share all this news in front of you guys. So first of all, we have a great sponsor you want to talk about the raffle, Kay, or do you
Yeah.
want to?
So, we've been talking about Bitcoin, and we've been talking about how it's really moving. And we've got a great sponsor for today's show, Breakout Prop. If you buy an evaluation, you'll be entered into a small draw, very small groups, a very high chance of winning. That you'll be able to be entered into a giveaway and a raffle to win, a 25,000 or a 50,000 evaluation on top of the one that you've purchased. So this is a low, a small group, a high probability of actually being cast as one of the winners. And then we have a raffle too, right, Boris? The Prop Trader Edge one. Did you have that one up?
Yeah, no, hold on just 1 second. Sorry, that one I need to get. I just give me just 1 second.
So we have a bigger raffle for anyone who follows our brand new website, Prop Trader Edge. He'll pull it up in just a second.
I closed all my charts, and now I lost that.
Let me see if I can pull it up. So here we are.
Do you have it?
Yep, Prop Trader Edge. If you can find the link, Boris, and drop it into the chat. We're doing a really big giveaway, up to $450,000 in prop challenges. One 250,000 futures challenge, one 100,000 50 futures challenge, a whole bunch of crypto props. There are a lot of people participating, but it's a very, very lucrative giveaway. Just click on the link that Boris is.
I'm actually going to. You know what I'm going to do with this link? I'm going to try and see if I can pin this to the top of the chat box. So that giveaway is pinned to the top of the chat box. You'll always find it. Just go up to the chat box and click that link right now to be able to get that giveaway. So
So there are two raffles that we're doing for today's live trading. One is where to go? Let's see.
Breakaway? You want me to do the breakaway?
No, one is basically a chance to win one of some really, really big prizes. And just click on Boris's link to join the raffle. The other one, and so there's a lot of people participating. The other one is for a smaller group, which is a higher chance of winning. You buy one evaluation with Breakout Prop. Breakout Prop is amazing. They are backed by Kraken. They are crypto only. You can get funded on one trade. There's no time limit, so you can buy it, trade Bitcoin today, forget about it for 3 weeks, come back to it. There's no reoccurring fees. So it's not, you don't necessarily have to always trade Bitcoin and always be trading. If you have a view on Bitcoin, it's a great way to express it because they have fantastic spreads and they've got really great reputation online. So use the code BKSAVE. Not only can you save money, but you'll get an entry if you buy a prop challenge to win one of two prizes, $50,000 account or a $25,000 account. So lots of great stuff from our sponsors today, and I highly recommend them.
Yes, and one last, but probably the most important piece of news is our main sponsor, Apex Trader. They went out of their minds. They're really insane. You know what they're doing right now? Let me show you. They are all accounts, every single account, 25, 50, 100, 150, $250,000 accounts, $300,000 accounts are just $19. And all in, it's going to be 84. So huge, massive discount sale. Please go to Apex and load up on those accounts because we're going to be using them very, very productively over the next couple of weeks to be able to fund as many accounts as we possibly can. I'm going to put the Apex link right here. And it's like 90% saving, not even 80. They're really ramping it up for the 12 days of Christmas. That's their logo. So go out there, please. As a matter of fact, they had I don't know if you tried it earlier, but their website they crashed the website. Now it's back up, so you can definitely get the accounts. I just bought two right now, which we may or may not trade, depending on what how the presser goes. But we will definitely be using them of all the other stuff that comes up over the next week or so in terms of news flow. So
yeah, it is a crazy deal.
No, this is a new one. This is a new one. So Spoo is saying to me, so this is a brand new one that is even better than the one that they were offering yesterday. So this is just all brand new, just literally came out like midday today. So what I mean by all in is the total cost of a funded account. Remember, you pay for the evaluation, then you have to pay for it to start the funded account. All of that is now going to be just $84, which is really, really cheap. It's usually $200 to basically get you pay part for evaluation and then part to start your funded account. Usually those fees add up to somewhere between $150 $200. Now it's only going to be $84. So it's really, really good. Breakout. Can you do long-term trades? Yes, I think you could do long-term trades. There's no, I believe Breakout does not have any like the future.
There's no time limit. There's no time limit. There's no consistency rules. There's no time limit. There's no consistency rules. You don't have to trade every day. You don't have to close your position every day. You can trade over the weekend. It's if you want to do prop on the side. Sorry, if you want to do crypto on the side, it's really good. And trade your futures in a separate account and not have them mixed together. They're a great deal because
it's optimized for positional traders, like a lot of people who don't necessarily.
And it's super cheap. It's basically, it's, you can start for like $50, use BK Save to save more. And you can, for the $5,000 account, it's $50. Use the BK Save to save more. Yeah, I see dollar can moving, but it's not breaking our levels yet. And you get our BK meters, these meters that show you that things are starting to move in one direction or the other. You can see, I put my meter up. The dollar yen is the short-term basis, 520.50. SMAs are starting to turn green, but not quite. I mean, look at this, it's still quite red. You can customize this to whatever you want, whatever SMAs. It also has an EMA meter. So anyone who buys a breakout prop account or I think capital account or a DNA markets account, basically if you go to our sister website, Prop Trader Edge, and you click on discounts, use any of these links, send us your receipt, and we will give you access to the BK meters.
Yeah, and be sure to the link up top of chat is the raffle link. It's nearly $500,000 worth of prop accounts that we're giving away for totally free. So please register for that. It's really going to be an awesome extravaganza. Go ahead, take a look at it. Okay. So we got the 3-4 minutes before the presser. I don't know, Kay, you going to hang out with us? You want to?
Well, I'll hang out for the things that you have to wait for him to talk. And then the headlines will come through. Then you have to wait for the first 3 questions to be asked. Usually those are the most important questions. But as traders, it's the same. It's the same drill. Draw your highs, which are higher now, in dollar yen. This is gold. Draw your highs, which are higher now. Draw your lows, and then focus on the levels. We haven't had a breakout yet in dollar yen. So just focus on the levels. But the price action is exactly what we expect, which is a burst of price action the first 15 minutes and then a pullback. So it's important to understand how these things move and how these things trade in order to not be surprised. And that's why we scalp, because we know that that's why we scalp the news. We know that it's going to pull back. We know that it's going to drop before the rate decision. It's just going to be a quick burst of price action. But the real move of the day will come. For me, I trade my strategy ZIP. We don't trade to the Asia session. In reality, we don't trade to the Asia session and look for those trades then. But I will be looking for some opportunities on the breakouts after Powell speaks. So pretty much at 3 o'clock, for me, it's no trade until 3 o'clock, 2:45, 3 o'clock, and then we'll wait for the real trend of the day. Yeah.
What's interesting right now is we are really starting to unwind that move. So let me add, look at what's going on with NAS. We broke the 200 period SMA. We're starting to really unwind it. The low, of course, of the breakout candle is somewhere around 25,580. I would not be surprised if he's sort of hawkish and the market kind of the euphoria over the buying ceases. I wouldn't be surprised if we start pushing all the way down to 25,500. It really feels like the buyers really could not take out the 700 level. And unless we get a big burst back up to the highs, my vibe now is that this is shifting towards the downside. And as soon as it turns negative on the trend, we should be able to get some scalp signals, because we're only going to be trading trend signals here today. And as you can see, the short-term moving average has already gotten very, very negative, but we still haven't broken the 8 has not taken below the 200 SMA. So we'll be watching this carefully, see how it plays out. Gold also totally reversing. Look at gold. Gold now just broke the 200 SMA. We're very close to turning negative trend here, and we'll watch that carefully, because if gold turns negative,
Boris, why don't you put out the BK trend meters on and see what they look like?
Okay.
But Powell's about to speak, and so he's coming up real soon, and just focus on the levels.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to put the SMA meter on here for gold.
Dollar yen is breaking to the upside now. You know, this is the precarious period, whereas before Powell, so you don't want to trade, and
right.
Patience is important. But you know, it was illogical initially, and finally the price action is becoming logical, in my opinion.
Right. I'm just Googling press conference, live video from the Fed. So far he hasn't said anything. Let me see if I want to go to YouTube. Maybe we'll just do the YouTube. Okay, continue. Oh, he's coming out now. And I'm actually going to share this tab, and then you guys can hear him talk.
Don't hear anything yet, Boris.
Yeah, just 1 second.
Okay. I'm going to see if there's any interesting headlines. Oh, dollar breaking up to the upside. Dollar yen rallying. Your levels are in there.
In the labor market appear to be gradually cooling, and inflation remains somewhat elevated.
You guys hear it now?
In support of our goals, in light of the balance of risks to employment and inflation, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to lower our policy interest rate by a 1/4 percentage point. As a separate matter, we also decided to initiate purchases of shorter-term Treasury securities solely for the purpose of maintaining an ample supply of reserves over time, thus supporting effective control of our policy rate. I will have more to say about monetary policy and its implementation after briefly reviewing economic developments. Although some key government data have yet to be released, available indicators suggest that economic activity has been expanding at a moderate pace. Consumer spending appears to have remained solid, and business fixed investment has continued to expand. In contrast, activity in the housing sector remains weak. The temporary shutdown of the federal government has likely weighed on economic activity in the current quarter, but these effects should be mostly offset by higher growth next quarter, reflecting the reopening. In our summary of economic projections, the median participant projects that real GDP will rise 1.7% this year and 2.3% next year, somewhat stronger than projected in September. In the labor market, although official employment data for October and November are delayed, available evidence suggests that both layoffs and hiring remain low, and that both households' perceptions of job availability and firms' perceptions of hiring difficulty continue to decline. The official report on the labor market for September, the most recent release, showed that the unemployment rate continued to edge up, reaching 4.4%, and that job gains had slowed significantly since earlier in the year. A good part of the slowing likely reflects a decline in the growth of the labor force due to lower immigration and labor force participation, though labor demand has clearly softened as well. In this less dynamic and somewhat softer labor market, the downside risks to employment appear to have risen in recent months.
That's a pretty dovish statement.
The median projection of the unemployment rate is 4.5% at the end of this year and edges down thereafter. Inflation has eased significantly from its highs in mid-2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer run goal. Very little data on inflation have been released since our meeting in October. Total PCE prices rose 2.8% over the 12 months ending in September, and excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices also rose 2.8%. These readings are higher than earlier in the year as inflation for goods has picked up, reflecting the effects of tariffs. In contrast, disinflation appears to be continuing for services. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have declined from their peaks earlier in the year, as reflected in both market and survey-based measures. Most measures of longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. The median projection in the SEP for total PCE inflation is 2.9% this year and 2.4% next year, a bit lower than the median projection in September. Thereafter, the median falls to 2%. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. At today's meeting, the committee decided to lower the target range for the federal funds rate by a quarter percentage point to 3.5% to 3.75%. In the near term, risks to inflation are tilted to the upside and risks to employment to the downside, a challenging situation. There is no risk-free path for policy as we navigate this tension between our employment and inflation goals. A reasonable base case is that the effects of tariffs on inflation will be relatively short-lived, effectively a one-time shift in the price level. Our obligation is to make sure that a one-time increase in the price level does not become an ongoing inflation problem. But with downside risks to employment having risen in recent months, the balance of risks has shifted. Our framework calls for us to take a balanced approach.
Seems like Nasdaq is moving, gold's not really moving too much. The dollar is falling. We have new highs in your dollar.
Policy rate by a quarter percentage point. With today's decision, we have lowered our policy rate 0.75 of a percentage point over our last 3 meetings. This further normalization of our policy stance should help stabilize the labor market while allowing inflation to resume its downward trend toward 2% once the effects of tariffs have passed through. The adjustments to our policy stance since September bring it within a range of plausible estimates of neutral and leave us well positioned to determine the extent and timing of additional adjustments to our policy rate based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. In our summary of economic projections, FOMC participants wrote down their individual assessments of an appropriate path of the federal funds rate under what each participant judges to be the most likely scenario for the economy. The median participant projects that the appropriate level of the federal funds rate will be 3.4% at the end of 2026 and 3.1% at the end of 2027, unchanged from September. As is always the case, these individual forecasts are subject to uncertainty and they're not a committee plan or decision. Monetary policy is not on a preset course, and we will make our decisions on a meeting-by-meeting basis. Let me turn now to issues related to the implementation of monetary policy, with the reminder that these issues are separate from and have no implications for the stance of monetary policy. In light of the continued tightening in money market interest rates relative to our administered rates and other indicators of reserve market conditions, the committee judged that reserve balances have declined to ample levels. Accordingly, at today's meeting, the committee decided to initiate purchases of shorter-term Treasury securities, mainly Treasury bills, for the sole purpose of maintaining an ample supply of reserves over time. Such increases in our securities holdings ensure that the federal funds rate remains within its target range and are necessary because the growth of the economy leads to rising demand over time for our liabilities, including currency and reserves. As detailed in a statement released today by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, reserve management purchases will amount to $40 billion in the first month and may remain elevated for a few months to alleviate expected near-term pressures in money markets. Thereafter, we expect the size of reserve management purchases to decline, though the actual pace will depend on market conditions. In our implementation framework, an ample supply of reserves means that the federal funds rate and other short-term interest rates are primarily controlled by the setting of our administered rates, rather than day-to-day discretionary interventions in money markets. In this regime, standing repurchase agreement or repo operations are a critical tool to ensure that the federal funds rate remains within its target range, even on days of elevated pressures in money markets. Consistent with this view, the committee eliminated the aggregate limit on standing repo operations. These operations are intended to support monetary policy implementation and smooth market functioning and should be used when economically sensible. To conclude, the Fed has been assigned 2 goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing our inflation sustainably down to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission.
He always says that at the end of
We
the
will
day.
do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals.
Right.
Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
First 3 questions. Let's see.
Thank you. Howard Schneider with Reuters. Just first turning to the statement, just to be clear, we're on the same page here. The insertion of the phrase, considering the extent and timing of additional adjustments, does that indicate that the Fed is now on hold until there's some clearer signal from inflation or jobs or the evolution of the economy along the baseline outlook?
So, yes, the adjustments since September bring our policy within a broad range of estimates of neutral. And as we
That's
noted in
a
our
pretty-
statement,
That means
we're
he's
in a
done. That means they're
position to
done.
determine
It's
the
dollar
extent and
bullish,
timing
in my
of additional
opinion.
adjustments
You know, we're
based
breaking
on
to
the
the
end-of-day
upside.
evolving outlook
And
and the balance of
Nasdaq is
risks.
starting to get a
Yep,
little
look at this.
yellow.
We got our
Now,
buy
points
order,
out that we'll carefully
156.53.
evaluate that
Although I
incoming
think
data.
the sells are probably a little
And
bit
also, I would note that
better
having reduced our policy
dollar
rate by
yen's,
75 basis points since
I think
September.
if we look at
and
MNQ
175
and
basis
gold,
points since
you know, if we
last
break to the
September.
downside,
Fed
it's going to
funds
have
rate
a
is
move
now within
lower
a
as
broad range of
well.
estimates of its neutral value, and we are well positioned to wait to see how the economy evolves.
And if I could
I'm in
follow up on
maximum
the
volume,
outlook there,
guys.
it seems like with the additional GDP growth coupled with easing inflation and a fairly steady unemployment rate, this seems like a pretty optimistic outlook for next year. What's given rise to that? Is this an early bet on AI? Is there some sense of improving productivity out there? What's driving that?
So
Look, dollar yen's up 10, 15 points. I would take off half. 10 points, I would take off half. And then see, you know, the next level of resistance up here in 74. We were very, very patient with the dollar trade. And we're starting to break to the upside.
Yep.
I would have
In the
taken off
meantime-
half.
In the meantime, NAS is flirting with a 200 period SMA, but so far hasn't broken it. I took a lot of upside trades, which I'll share with you before you started talking. And then we're going to just wait and see if like this little hammer of a throwaway comment, yeah, we're kind of done.
But you can see if you had gold to the short side, I mean, we've been drawing this low for some time. 4,190. This one should just slip down to at least 4,180.
Yeah, gold is actually negative and is actually sending us a sell signal. We're gonna sell gold here in one of our accounts right now. See if we can make the trade here. So I'm short and it's done. We're sold and done. I'm off screen right now, but I'll show you more trades. All right, let's see what else I'm going to say here. But
yeah,
this was the big takeaway.
Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for taking our questions here. You had previously described rate cuts in terms of a risk management framework, and kind of following up on what Howard was asking, is the risk management phase of rate cuts over here? And have you taken out sufficient insurance, I guess, against potential weakness in terms of the data we might get next week when it comes to employment?
So we're going to get a great deal of data between now and the January meeting, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that. And that's
going to give us lots of opportunities to trade.
Factor into
we have non-farm payrolls and inflation next week.
If you go back, we held our policy rate at 5.4% for more than a year because inflation was high, very high, and unemployment in the labor market was really solid at that point. So what happened is over last summer of 24, inflation came down, and the labor market began to show real signs of weakness. And so we decided, as our framework tells us to do, that when the risks to the two goals become more equal, you should move from a stance that favors really dealing with one of them, in that case inflation, to a more balanced, more neutral setting. And so we did that. We did some cutting, and then we paused for a while to work our way through what was happening in the middle of the year. And then we resumed cuts in September, and we've cut now 3. We've now cut a total of 175 basis points. And as I mentioned, we feel like
there we go. With gold, we laid our levels, and we told you that should go ahead towards 4,180. Back when it was 8 or 9 points higher, it's starting to move there. Dollar yen, easy peasy. We drew our levels, and we waited for the breakout. This is not the way I trade normally. This is kind of the way Boris trades, with highs and lows. But this is the only way to trade news effectively, which is you've got a bias, but you got to make sure that the price action confirms your bias. Otherwise, be patient and wait.
Right. That may be AI. It just also, I think, productivity has just been almost structurally higher for several years.
You made money
now.
while you're listening.
So if you start thinking of it as 2%
put a
per
thumbs
year,
up.
you
Tell us how much you made. Give us some money signs. Let us know if you made money. Put some emojis in there.
Exactly. We want to hear it.
We want to hear. We've only had good trades today.
We're going to do one more question from Jerome.
Thank you. Colby Smith with the New York Times. Today's decision was clearly very divided. It wasn't just the 2 official dissents against the cut, but there were also soft dissents from 4 others. And I'm just wondering if this reluctance from several people to support recent reductions suggests that there is a much higher bar for cuts in the near term. And what exactly does the committee need to see if things are well positioned right now to support a January reduction?
Sure. So let me just say, as I mentioned, and as I've mentioned here before, the situation is that our 2 goals are a bit in tension, right? So interestingly, everyone around the table at the FOMC agrees that inflation is too high and that we want it to come down, and agrees that the labor market has softened and that there's further risk. Everyone agrees on that. Where the difference is how do you weight those risks, and what does your forecast look like, and where do you ultimately where do you think the bigger risk is? And it's very unusual to have persistent tension between the 2 parts of the mandate. And when you do, this is what you see. And I think it's actually what you would expect to see. And we do see it. Meanwhile, the discussions we have are as good as any we've had in my 14 years at the Fed. They're very thoughtful, respectful, and you just have people who have strong views. And, we come together and we reach a place where we can make a decision. We made a decision today. We had 9 out of 12 supported it, so fairly broad support. But it's not like the normal situation where everyone agrees on the direction and what to do. It's more spread out, and I think that's only inherent in the situation. In terms of what it would take, we all.
I think Powell's pretty much told us everything that he's going to say. Yeah, I think Powell's pretty much told us everything that he's going to say. I'm so proud of all of you. I mean, look at this. We have Neil, who's made $400 trading with us. It's Ken O'Goofy, who made up to $900. Walter made a couple G's. Tango made $500. Even $250. Really respectable PTP. I mean, this is the way you make money, which is that you make $250. You've got a couple of accounts that are copying that account, 10 accounts, 20 accounts. That $250 becomes $2,500. I'm sure if we had brought Walter K to talk about it, or Clean Sober, or Ty, I'm sure every single one of you will. I don't know why. Are you clicking on something, Boris? I'm sure every single one of you will tell me that you are trading multiple accounts. You're trading multiple accounts that are tying into it, and that's how you're scaling. These are, James, you might be making a joke about $1 million, but these are not my plants. I have no one planted in here in the stream. These are all people who join us expressing their own experience, and this is the way. That's why Apex says 90% off sale is the perfect time to be stacking 20 accounts, because even if it's a modest $250, times 10 accounts. That's $2,500. And I am sure that Ty is trading that way. Let me know, Ty, Clean, Walter, how many accounts do you have? How many accounts are you trading? So we can tell people how it's done. Now, most of you are trading gold, most of you are trading MNQ, which is great. If you don't have any prop trading accounts, make sure you join that raffle. If Boris, you want to put that raffle back in there.
Take a look at the.
We've
sorry,
got an amazing raffle that's happening right now, which is this. Let me click, Boris. Stop.
Okay.
Which is this one. This is the raffle that they're getting. If they raffle, you can win up to 450,000 in giveaways, completely free. And you can maybe even win a 250,000 futures account. How much does that cost, Boris?
$250,000 future account.
Yeah. How much does that cost?
Well, at full price, it's probably going to be $400 or $500.
Yeah, you could win that. So click on the link that Boris pinned to the chat. Maybe Boris can post it one more time.
Yep.
And if you want, there's thousands of people who are participating in this. If you want a greater chance, then, buy a breakout prop account. They're one of our sponsors. You get entered into a very small pool with a high chance of winning. If you buy with the code BKSAVE, we're going to pick winners. Winners for this giveaway, by the way, are going to be announced on our Monday live stream, live on Monday, where we lay out every single Monday. We walk you through the game plan for the week. This next week, we have non-farm payrolls and we have inflation. So make sure you come. Just like today, we prepared for the trades. We made the levels. We outlined it. We're going to prep you for the next week. And on Monday, we are going to do the live raffle draw. So make sure you click the link that Boris entered to participate in the raffle, because it's the prizes are amazing.
Yeah, it costs you nothing, and you might get something really valuable in return. You get a chance also to sample Prop Trader Edge, which is a great newsletter that has all this trading tips, inspiration stories from traders, as well as the highest discounts from every single major prop firm in the business that we've vet very carefully for you to make sure they're only the good ones. So really great free asset for you. It's a 100% free kit. It's Kathy's sort of labor of love, and hopefully you guys really enjoy it.
Clean says he made $2,000 today, and he had 20 accounts attached to it. Walter, I know you're in the room. How many accounts do you have, Walter? Jeffrey, you made 19,000. I don't know if you mean on Sim in your demo account, or if you had a Sim prop account. Maybe you can clarify. But this is the way you go, this is the way you can actually.
19,000 on Sim is really good. That means he must have had about 20 accounts, and he did $1,000 on each account. So that's he must have really hit the trade on the upside, on the risk.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So definitely check out our raffles. This is his practice account. So it's not a real account, which is fine. Congratulations. You're learning to trade. The only, a couple of prop firms like our partner Think Capital has Sim accounts. Walter, you're here. So Walter got funded 11 accounts.
Funded accounts of 300K. Wow. So those are going to be really
Let's clap for Walter. Come on, let me get some emojis. Walter,
Walter actually gets the winner chicken dinner here.
Yeah, Walter came to our Boca Summit, so he is a very serious trader. He came to our Boca Summit. We got to meet him in person. But I think the main takeaway is, he had 11 accounts tied to his account, which is why he made thousands. And, Jeffrey had up to 15 accounts in and out. This is, it sounds like a lot, but this is the way the prop traders who get funded and who get payouts, that's how they trade. So make sure you take advantage of all of that. And if, once again, another plug to our sponsor today, Breakout Prop, Kraken backed. They are, if you want to trade crypto on the side, you want to dabble in it, no time limits, no consistency. You got a view, take the trade. Breakout Prop is the best spreads. They have on-demand payouts as often as at every hour. They never offer discounts because, they their rates and everything is so competitive that they can't discount because they give you the best price possible. So BK Save will always get you the best discount. If you buy one of their props, over the next few days, you get entered into a raffle, which, you can have a chance to win another prop challenge. So, Jeffrey, 15 contracts on one practice account with Top Step. You're learning how to stack your accounts. Congratulations. Really, really great stuff, guys. I'm so proud of all of you. I'm so proud of all of you making money today.
And everybody who's in the room right now, first of all, subscribe to the channel, because the moment you subscribe to the channel, you'll know exactly when we go live. We go live every single day, but specifically next week, CPI, NFPs, massive volatility events.
And we're talking about subscribing to the YouTube channel, because the majority of you are coming through X, which is awesome. But YouTube is where you want to be.
Exactly. Just subscribe to the YouTube channel. You'll know exactly when we pop up on our lives. And next week is going to be a very, very full week. We're gonna try and get lots of accounts funded. It's really the perfect week. We have $19 accounts at Apex. We're going to buy 20 of them each. Get those accounts funded. Get the funded accounts paid out. It's going to be a really, really great couple of weeks before the Christmas season starts hitting us. Because
unfortunately, I think it's like 1 week, right, Boris? Because then it's Christmas, isn't it?
No, exactly. It's 1 week next week. It's this week. I'm talking about this week and next week. Just a great time to trade. I really fine-tuned the indicator. I'm going to show you all the little bells and whistles I put into it that you guys are going to love. It's just like printing money right now. I'll show you all the trades I made while we were off screen, because I couldn't show them to you. But,
so I'll let Boris do that. I'm going to say goodbye. And hopefully, I'm so proud of all of you for making money today. Come Monday, we're going to do the raffle live for this. But most importantly, we're going to set you up for non-farm payrolls and inflation that's coming out next week. So it's going to continue to be another busy week. We've got Bank of Japan. Will they raise interest rates? Maybe. Let's talk about it. We've got Bank of England. Will they change? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We'll talk about it. So there's a lot to talk about next week. So come on a Monday. It's going to be a big day. And enter this giveaway, because that costs nothing, and you have a chance to win when you come join us on Monday. I will see you on Monday. Boris is going to keep on going to the markets.
Exactly.
And I will see you then.
Exactly. All right. Let me take over the screen here. I'm going to add this to the stage. Remove this. Remove. Add. Here we go. All right. So first of all, look at the trend meter. Holy cow! It's as green can be. I'm going to mute this out because it's just too much. Let's talk about, these are all the trades I took while we were off, while he was talking and Kay was talking, and I just couldn't bear it. You see all these winners, A's, scalp up, scalp up, scalp up. I did a little bit of gold too. We took the gold to the downside. Gold, by the way, now is trading back up. This is absolutely going to be, if this is a green dot, this is definitely going to be a buy signal. I'll change my around. So there's just enormous, we're going to pass up this trade because it's just, I want to focus on just showing you the, well, you guys don't see this. Okay, sorry. Never mind, I just realized this. You're on this. Okay, let's talk about the latest modification of the indicator. This indicator is called BFF dots only. Stands for be freaking focused. It's our scalping indicator. There's a lot of new people in the room. I'm going to explain it super simply, but I'm actually going to explain it to the old guys in the simplest possible way. You're going to hear a lot of blasphemy coming out of my mouth right now about how I want to trade this, but trust me, this is the way. We trade momentum-based scalping, means we're trading with trend, momentum, and short, very small, but highly accurate trades, right? You can do different things with our indicator, but this is how I trade it. The setup that I trade is called the A setup, which is a pure momentum setup. You can see it just peaking over there right now as I speak. Every time we get an A label, that's a buy signal. As you can see, buy signal, I make it, buy signal, I make it, buy signal, I make it. I take all those buy signals. There are three things that are really driving the strength of my setup. Number one, we have the short-term moving average, long-term moving average, 200 against 8-period SMA. The 8-period SMA has slope. It has green slope when it's moving up, red slope when it's moving down. We are going to ignore slope. People who have been trading me forever are going to just be shocked at me hearing this. The setup we're going to trade, and the setup that I've been trading, like, I kind of come down to like the rules that I want to trade with, is super, super simple. I need 3 things to make me want to go long or short. 1, I need big trend. Big trend is short-term moving average over long-term moving average. So in this case, the big trend is upside. 8 is over 200. I'm only taking upside trades. No counter trend trades, no bullshit, no selling bottoms, no buying tops, no goofing around, just pure trend trades. The second thing I need is range. This is the range box. As long as it's green, meaning as long as there's movement in the trend, and the movement that we have, our filter is 25 points. High to low, you gotta have 25 points worth of movement over the last 10 candles for us to think that there is enough movement, right? Range is the second value we need. And then the third value we need is just 2 green dots together. These are momentum dots. As long as I get 2 momentum dots, one after the other, I am going to print my A's. And when you look at these settings, guys, there's a whole bunch of new checkbox settings. You can do them exactly the way I used to do them before, with very, very strict parameters, or you can do them with very loose parameters. And I'm going to do them with very loose parameters. I'm going to take off the slope confirmation. I'm going to just simply keep the dots as is, and you're going to see how many setups I'm going to generate on the A side. Look at this: 1, 2, 3, all of them winners. What this is going to do for those of us that want to trade pure momentum is when we catch a big trend, we're just going to boom, 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 bullet, 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 win, 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 win. Just capture all the scalps, 1 scalp, 2 scalp, 3 scalp, and then come back and sit and wait patiently until we get a move. This works obviously best when we have sustained short-term trends. But the whole point is, if we don't have the range box, if the range box is not green, we don't have sustained short-term trends. So the range box by itself filters out most of the bad trades for us. So all we need is trend, range, momentum. Just 3 things. You can make them as complicated or as tight as far as parameters go as you want, but I am just unclicking all of these things. As few rules as possible. Just give me minimum range, give me trend, and give me a setup. Everything else I'm unclicking. But you can click them back, and it'll be much stricter as far as the setup goes. It doesn't even matter what the candle color is, but the candle color by its definition is going to be green, because you can't have a green dot against a red candle. Or maybe you could. I take it back. You could have it, but you can't have. It's very unusual to have 2 green dots and 2 red candles. I mean, unicorns happen, but rarely. The point is, the classic scalp winning strategy is winner, 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 like this. Boom, boom, boom. We just hit those 3 trades in a row, and we do nothing else. Take a look at the gold. Look at gold. I missed all those trades in gold because I wanted to just go through the rules with you, but this was all here. Winner, winner, winner. Boom, boom, boom. Gold also giving us lots and lots of buy points. And the only drawback of trading this is that when we have counter trend moves and then the thing starts to come down, we have to just sit in our hands. But you know what? You know what I discovered in looking at all my trades? Almost all the losers, not all, but almost all the bad trades in my sequences come from counter trend trades. Much as I love to do them, they're actually not a very big contributor to the P&L. In a perfect world, we're looking for a 7-to-1 ratio, 7 winners to 1 loser. We will win with just a 4-to-1 ratio. We do pretty well with a 5-to-1 ratio. I think realistically, we're probably around 5-to-1, 6-to-1. But if I have a good run, I could be at 7-to-1 as far as winning trades. If you look back from the 2 o'clock zone here, winner 2-0, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. This is actually a winner, even though this was a crazy trade. 6-0, 7-0, 8-0. Now we're up there. So it's 8-0. There's no losing trades in this particular configuration since we started trading it. As a matter of fact, let's do this right now. We're going to go deep dive this is gold. Sorry, this is gold. I'm looking at gold. This was gold. Gold really was very, very positive. We got to go to gold. Let me share this tab instead. Let me see if you guys see it. Okay, yes, you do. No signal on the gold though. Sorry. With gold, we're trading all of our funded accounts, and I'm just trading them across the board. You can see I'm just boom, boom, boom. And this is the beauty. Every time we make a trade, we go to a new account, new account, new account. So we distribute the profits, we distribute the losses. No account gets badly hurt, and all of them slowly but surely going towards the target of getting paid out. That's how we do it. And we're gonna add 5 more of those accounts over the next couple of days after we buy the evals and hopefully pass the evals. So this is kind of cool. I didn't realize I could. This is kind of cool. You guys like it? I can share tabs. I kind of dig in this. I like that at a click of a button, I can share tabs and you guys can see it. Because, you know, the cool thing is that means I can actually play videos for you. I can play music for you because if I share a tab, I can share the music for it and all sorts of stuff. That's really cool. Look at this. I've been streaming for like a year and a half and I just discovered this little function. There we go. I'm on a 1 minute chart. 1 minute chart, baby. You can see the 1 minute chart right over here. 1 minute, 1 minute, okay? So alas, no signals, but we are at fresh highs. Oh, this is gold. Let's go to Nasdaq. Oh, Nas had a trade. I'm sorry, guys. Let's do this. Buy. Okay, let's see if we're in this trade. Let's see what it wants to do for me. Maybe. This is the, and we're done. See, in at 38, out at 43. There we go. See, nice and easy. We clipped the thing. I could have, you know, gotten this one. So let's actually, you know what? Let me get rid of all the. This is because whenever I show you all my trades, this chart looks like St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Let's count the ratios with this new setup, and it's actually not going to be as good as I think it is because this is a loser. This is a winner. 1-1, 2-1. This one is a loser. So 2-2, 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 7-2. Okay, 7-2. That's not horrible. It's mildly positive. We obviously want to be at 7-1, but that is 7-2 against massive volatility on the open. You know, off his presser here, and right after the chart comes out. So you know, it's not really that bad when you think about this. This is against a very, very tough volatility environment, and I was 7-2, whereas gold was like 8-0. So if you traded both of them, you made a ton of money on gold. In addition to that, my point is it's a great setup. Even in a highly volatile herky-jerky move, I wouldn't have obviously traded this because these are massive yellow candles. But I'm counting everything just so that you can see that I'm not cheating on the setups. As I said, anywhere where 4-1 or better, where we're net positive. So, you know, 8-2 becomes essentially a 4-1 ratio, right? So it's a net positive ratio. Can I show the settings again? This is the range zone 2 version. My settings just basically check off, uncheck first trade, requires fresh 2 dots, a consecutive start, requires slow confirmation. Uncheck all of those, and give myself, you know, that structure as a trade set. So range still staying within our zone, although it's clearly contracting. You can see that we went from like a nice big wide range to a range starting to contract. Let's see what gold is. Gold actually continues to go high. Remember I said if we took out the 250, it's going to go higher. Look at this, just a pure move to the upside. Gold is really rocking at this point. Sorry. Questions here. I have a lot of questions here. Yeah, thank you, William. Requires slow confirmation is a great new feature, especially in Asia session. Thank you. Yep, great. Not clear streaming. My stream is not clear. I see myself very sharply. Do you guys see it? I think it's on your end. What stop loss? I'm using 515 on Nasdaq, 1.3 on gold. Oh, here's gold. We got a signal in gold. So let me see if I can go over here. So this is a cool thing. I think I can share this tab instead. You should be able to see this tab, right? We got 11 seconds left. I want to be in the 19. Let's see if we can buy this. 6 seconds. The dot has got to stay. If the dot is not there, there's no trade. I'm going to wait. Okay, long on this. Let's see if gold takes me to, I have a dollar target on gold. Hey guys, somebody was saying to me that the discount on Apex doesn't apply to wealth charts. Is that correct? I can't believe that'd be true, because I think they're universal discounts. Has anybody bought the $19 discount yet? Can you confirm that to me? I'll take a look at it afterwards. So which account am I in? I am in the 19 account. Here's position. Oh, why am I at 2? I should be at 1. $57.7, $58.9. There we go. We got done. Sorry, I still had the for some reason I had the 2 ratio. It should be 10:30. Okay, let's make it close and we'll save that, and that will be the final thing. Okay, cool. Just got done in gold. Nice job. Yeah, I'm on 2.6 now for some reason. I don't know why I was at 2.6. Yeah, Clean Supper says 90% is available in wealth charts. Good. Yeah. I did not think that they would not be available in charts. By the way, you see how, like, you snooze, you lose. You don't take that $1, it just reverses on you. You gotta take that quick clip and just get out of it when you can. All right, share this tab instead. Let's go to Nasdaq. Kind of slowing down. Should we see what Jerome is doing? Let's see what he's doing here.
Why is there such a division of views between
the policy? What
on the committee?
Thank you.
Why is there such a division?
You guys hear it?
Between
Let me know if you guys hear this
and the
now.
board members.
You know, it's not so stark as that. The views are more varied in each group as well. There's some of that, but I would say they're also governors and they're people on both sides in both groups. I wouldn't put too much in that.
Okay, and just to follow up, please, given your growth upgrade, how would you factor in, or what would be the economic impact if the Supreme Court is to strike down the tariffs that they're currently hearing, please, in terms of growth and inflation? Thank you.
I really don't know. It would depend. It would depend on a whole bunch of things we don't know. So I can't really help you there.
Christine. Thank you. Thank you, Chair Powell. Christine Romans, NBC News. I wanted to ask you about how the higher income households are really driving spending right now. They're backed by home equity and stock market wealth, but lower income consumers are really struggling with the accumulation of 5 years now of rising prices. It's price levels, not really the inflation rate, holding some of these families back. How sustainable is this so-called K-shaped economy? And what are the Fed's thoughts on whether that's a risk going forward?
So we do, through our vast network of contacts and just through our observation of what's going on in the economy, we hear about this a lot. If you listen to the earnings reports for consumer-facing companies that tend to deal with low and moderate income people, they'll all say that we're seeing people, tightening their belts, changing products that they buy, buying less, and that sort of thing. And so that's clearly a thing. It's also clearly a thing that, asset values, housing values, and securities values are high, and they tend to be owned by people more at the higher end of the income and wealth. So as how sustainable it is, I don't know. Most of the consumption does happen by people who have more means. I think, the top third accounts for way more than a third of the consumption, for example. So it's a good question how sustainable that is. The best we can do is to have a, price stability and a strong labor market. And what we saw, for example, what we saw at the end of the, the very, very long.
All right, I'm going to mute Jerome. We'll go to the tabs here because I have another setup on a Nasdaq here. Let's see if it's gonna hold for us, and we'll try to trade it. Let's see if the A button holds. Nope, it goes away. All right, no trade on that. All right, I'm gonna leave it alone. It's probably gonna work, but it kind of faded on me in the last second, so I'll leave it alone. Really interesting, guys. I really thought we were going to go 25,500. Usually, like, my macro opinion is the exact opposite of what we do, so I should fade myself. I really thought we were going to go to 2,500, and it looks like we're going to go to 26,000. This is really kind of a bullish development here. How much was this? This was 55.75. The high over here was 61. Yeah, we would have made target. I should have taken this trade. I doubted my own setup here. I should have taken this trade. This would have been a good scalp. So what is this? Am I trading minis or micros? How much? Oh, this is a question to Ben. Ben's a question towards you there. Yeah, glad to have many setups. Gold is so many setups. That's right. It really, really does. Really, really does. Here's gold. Gold actually starting to do yet another setup. Gold is really, really soaring. Very interesting. Very interesting. And somebody said the dollar was weakening too, right? So weakening dollar, positive gold. All of this is a play on, I guess they're afraid that the Fed is going to do QE. I think, I think the thing that the market is kind of starting to think about here is, so Powell is leaving. They kind of set the groundwork for QE, which is the Fed buying U.S. treasuries. They got a lot of treasuries they got to refinance. They don't want to finance them at high interest rates. The only way to do that is to have the central bank essentially be the buyer of last resort for U.S. Treasury paper. All of that obviously is very debasing to the currency, which is why the metal is starting to really trade well. So gold just seems to be really now sniffing this whole idea that as we get into 26, Trump administration is going to want to keep the economy rolling. The best way to do that is low interest rates. The best way to do low interest rates is if the Fed is the buyer of last resort. And all of that is positive risk and certainly very positive gold assets because it's a debasement trade. So, here's gold. If we get another dot on this gold, that's going to be a trade for us. We will trade this to the long side. We'll go to the 2022 account and trade it from there. Because it just continues. The dots continue to take us higher. Oh, I think I have a new song. Dots take us higher. Oh, let's do that, right? I think I'm going to create a new song for tomorrow. Dots take us higher. By the way, I don't know. I got to figure out when we. I think we have a private live session tomorrow. So I don't know if I'm going to be trading live tomorrow in the morning, much as I want to. Let me just see what K is scheduled. Yeah, it's at 9 o'clock. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to trade live with you guys tomorrow. Okay. So I'll be back on Friday with you guys to trade then. But for now, no. But you think the markets are reacting about the Fed new chairman too? I kind of agree. It's not even so much the Fed new chairman. It's more like that the Fed just pivoted towards buying treasury bills. And that when the new administration comes in, that's only going to get expanded as a strategy. So all of that seems to be much more positive risk than anybody anticipated. So we'll see. We'll see. You think he's still He's still talking. He's still talking. You guys want to see this? Let's see what Jerome has to say for us.
A little quick to be saying it's generative AI, but I don't know. You know, the pandemic may have induced people to do more automation and do more things with computers to replace people, and that raises productivity. You know, output per hour.
Does that imply a higher neutral rate, and therefore the policy might be a little easier than it seems?
All things equal, yes, but all things aren't equal. There are many things pushing in different directions on where the neutral rate would be. But yes, that argument does come up.
Matt Egan.
Thanks, Chair Powell. Matt Egan with CNN. After today, you only have 3 more meetings at the helm of the Fed. Since becoming Fed chair, you've seen multiple trade wars, the pandemic, COVID reopening, period of high inflation. I know your term's not up as chair until May, but I'm wondering if you've given any thought to what you want your legacy to be.
My legacy. My thought is that I really want to turn this job over to whoever replaces me with the economy in really good shape. That's what I want to do. I want inflation to be under control, coming back down to 2%, and I want the labor market to be strong. That's what I want. And all of my efforts are to get to that place. They have been all along, but ultimately, that's what and it's, you know, I don't have time to think about the bigger things. I hope many years ahead to worry about that, but there's enough to do.
Relatedly, have you given any more thought, and can you tell us any more about your plans on whether or not you plan to stay on the Fed Board of Governors even after your term as chair expires?
Again, I'm focused on my remaining time as chair. I haven't got anything new on that to tell you.
Go to Mark for the last question.
Last question.
Mark Hamrick with Bankrate. Even while many price levels remain elevated, the reductions in the federal funds rate means that savings rates, or yields to be more precise, have peaked while key borrowing rates remain elevated. And that's, as we've discussed here, as many Americans struggle with liquidity or emergency savings challenges. Is that just collateral damage or an unintended consequence because your tools are limited in addressing individual or household liquidity constraints, insufficient money in the bank?
I don't know. I wouldn't agree that that's collateral damage of our. I mean, over time, we do what we do in order to create price stability and maximum employment, and those things are hugely valuable to all the people we serve. When we raise rates to bring inflation down, you know, that does work by slowing the economy, but we've moved back our policy back down to where it's certainly not strongly restrictive at this point. I think it's sort of in the range of neutral. So that's what we're trying to do, and I would want people to understand that. I think what people are feeling is the effect of higher prices. There was a global wave, sort of every.
All right, so I think we're done with Jerome. He's just basically wrapping it up, saying that there's a global wave, which is true. Let's take a look at what we got here. Markets are really, really slowed down. The range box is still positive. You can literally see the range box getting tighter and tighter and tighter, almost moving into our no trade zone, which is fine. The trade numbers have just been awesome, by the way. If we took the I think I was around 7.2 for you guys when I said we're at 7.2. So this would be 8.2. Oh, maybe this was the 2. This was the 8.2. Well, let me count this right. Let me just do this correctly. So this is a loser. This is 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1, 7-1, 8-2, 9-2. So 9-2 is very, very respectable hit rate on this new configuration that we have within hour and a half, right? Within an hour and a half. And gold was even better. Gold was like 9-1 or even 10-1. So if you combine gold and this, you're talking about 20-3. Each winner is 1, each loser is 3. So if you're 20-3, you're net positive 20. You're minus 9. That's overall your net positive 11 units of risk, depending on what kind of unit. If you were trading, If you're trading minis, that's $1,100 in an hour and a half of scalping. Not bad for government work. Very, very high precision work. I think this particular configuration is the right one. It's, as I said, this is a configuration for those of us who trade with me every single day, and those of you who are interested in trading with me. By the way, coaching is tomorrow. Yes, you want to join me? I'm putting the coaching link over here. Coaching is tomorrow night, so I will be with you. We're going to deconstruct this in a lot more detail, put together all the new rules for you guys. But let me put the coaching link over here. What I was going to, I totally lost my train of thought. What is it saying? It was accurate. That the basic idea here is trend, momentum, range. I stripped away all the other variables, which you can add back in to make it more complex. But I've kept it super simple. Just 3 ingredients to make the dish as tasty as possible. Trend, momentum, range. We have all those 3 elements on our side. The winners naturally overwhelm the losers. And, we want to be, as I said, we want to be in a 7-1 to 8-1 category, which is really, really good. I don't know what I'll be doing. Ben, I don't know if I'm going to be trading tonight, honestly. I think I'm not, just because this thing kind of ran over. I got a million other things to do. I think I'm not going to trade tonight. It's just been a very weird week. And then we have a Profit Tools Max webinar scheduled tomorrow where I really want to spend a little time and prepare some information. So I think I'm not going to trade tonight. We're gonna kind of wrap it up. I really would love to trade tomorrow, but we're doing a webinar early, so most likely I'm going to trade Friday morning for sure with you guys, and we obviously going to do we're going to do coaching tomorrow night. So this was the big trade. Everybody who's new here, who joined us from Twitter and everybody else, do me a favor, please, please, please. You see this 8-1, 9-1 winning rates. That's what we do every single day. If you want to understand how do we get such high accuracy trades over and over again, how do we pass all of our prop tests, how do we get funded, how do we get paid out on funded accounts, all of that is part of our daily routine, which is totally free. So come hang out with me. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is BK Forex, YouTube at BK Forex. And once you subscribe to that channel, you'll know every time I'm doing lives. Usually I do like 5 lives a week, but this week, because of the FOMC and everything else, I think and because we have a special event tomorrow, there won't be one tomorrow, but I will definitely be trading with you guys Friday. Maybe I'll even do a mini marathon on Friday to kind of wrap up the week. So because it'll be a great chance to showcase the strategy. I got one more trade, one more trade showing up. I'm gonna do it. I just opened up these 2 eval accounts, which I haven't even worked on. So let's work the eval accounts, and let's see what we can do with them. Oh, it just went away. Okay, and that's the beauty of the indicator, by the way, is if it's not there, we don't take the. Okay, let's see. This may still hold. Nope, it goes away. All right, no trade. Forget it. I'm not trading it. Looks a little weak. So that's the story. Brand new version, BFF dots only range 2 zone. If you want to get access to that, it's a coaching product. So just simply join my coaching and you'll get access to that. Right over here. Here's the coaching link. Oh, and the best news, I forgot. If you join my coaching, because Apex now is $19, I can buy you up to 5 free accounts. I'm going to be able to buy you 5 free Apex accounts as part of my coaching. So go ahead and do that now. This is really the greatest time to do this. Sign up, and then all your Apex, not all your Apex accounts, but up to 5 accounts could be free because the discounts are so heavy. Okay. I'm not taking the short trade because the not because the range is green. I'm not taking the short trade because I'm refusing to take any count. The trend is up, right? The 8 is above 200. I'm only taking long trades. I know it's really, really tempting to trade the short trades, and there's probably short trade opportunities. But trust me, this is what I said. I distilled it to 3 things: trend, momentum, range. I'm going to stay with those 3 variables, do or die, and that means yes, there'll be like periods where an hour's worth of time we got no trades because it's going to be counter trending and going down. I'd rather do that than chase every nook and cranny and have lower expectancy. I want us to be at 7-1, 8-1 all day, every day. To do that, you really got to commit to just trend, momentum, and range, right? And trading that way. We all want to trade as much as possible, but sometimes less is more. And in this case, I think it's going to be less is more. What time my sessions are? 9 o'clock in the morning, every morning, 9 to 10:30. If you subscribe to my Twitter, which, by the way, you see my Twitter handle? No, where's my Twitter handle? Why am I not on the Twitter? Oh, it's FX Flow. You see it, right? How come it's not on here? Huh? You guys don't see it? Okay, let me show it to you. It's FX Flow. FX Flow. This is my Twitter. Do me a favor, if you do nothing else, subscribe to my Twitter because, yeah, I'll show you, Mike. Because the key thing is every time I go live, the first place you will see it is on my Twitter, and you can actually see me. I'm always broadcasting from Twitter, anyways. So if nothing else, come subscribe. You can see the. It says 9:15, but we really start at 9 o'clock. Okay, pretty much every day. So subscribe, please. Over here. This is really worth your time. Okay. All right, my friends. I think the story is done. If anything, if this is going to unwind to the downside, it's fine. We're gonna have to, there's no trades for us anyways until and unless this breaks the 200 SMA. And if it does that, then it'll be a really interesting unwind in the last half an hour. We'll see if the market wants to do that. In the meantime, I'm going to let everybody go. Thank you again. Great session. Lots and lots of people here. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. Kate killed it in currencies, and I hit every single trade. Here, you guys want to see the trades? Here's the whole trades that we did. I'll show it to you on the charts. It looks kind of very ugly because there's so many trades, but you see all the executions. This is me just following the green dots, making money all day long. Money, 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 money. Boom, 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 boom. Right? So hopefully you guys really, really liked it, and I will see everybody. I'll see everybody in coaching tomorrow night, and I'll see everybody on Friday if you want to come join me. Thank you again, as always, guys. Really, really a lot of fun. Can I answer my question? What's your question? SSX. You know what? Send it to me by email. If I didn't see it before, then I don't know what are you asking me here? SSX. What is the question? You made over 3, but nothing changed? I don't know. Like, that's not why would I be able to answer that question? It's an Apex question. Go talk to them. I have no idea. But go have a good time. And I will see you. I'll see everybody tomorrow or Friday. Thank you so much, guys. Everybody enjoy. Take care. Bye-bye.